Live from Keene, New Hampshire, the most watched TV news show in Keene, the Keene Weekly News with Mark Edgington. Coverage of local and national events starts now.
Good evening. My name is Mark Edgington. This is the Keene Weekly News. Today is August the 3rd, 2007, and thanks for watching. It's fair time. That's right. If you get out there by 6:30, you can see the draft horse pull. Apparently they're going to pull 3,300 pounds, 12 feet. I don't know if this is race or something like that, but if you happen to miss that one, it happens again at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow. You really ought to go see this. These draft horses, these majestic, gigantic creatures God made and man has bred to their enormity, they're just amazing things to see when they're at work. And I don't think any child should miss it, and adults will enjoy it too. So head on out there to the fair and see the draft horses. Apparently there's also going to be a karaoke competition, something called the Poppy Town Puppets. That ought to be a lot of fun, and I'm not sure what a sway pole is, but Galaxy Girl is going to be about sway poling. On to the news. Apparently, a cell phone tower, has been halted, the building thereof, by the Dublin Zoning Board. A Massachusetts-based company wants to build a cell phone tower in Dublin, but its plans got hung up on Thursday's town zoning board meeting. National Grid Wireless needed 3 of the town's 4 zoning board of adjustment members to vote in favor of a special exception that would have sent the proposal to the town's planning board. Instead, they voted 2-2. They had a lockup. Are cell phones bad? Does anybody out there not have one? Because I know I have one. It's right here, as a matter of fact. Use it whenever I can. If you want to use your cell phone, you have to have cell phone towers. But the problem comes in is when somebody gets to tell me what I can build on my own property. It's the same sort of problem that's going on West Street here in the Valley Green motel like I talked about last week, where they want to build a perfectly fine 78-room hotel and condominium and tear down that eyesore that is the Valley Green Hotel. And the neighbors don't want it to. It'll be 4 stories tall, and it'll ruin the character of our community. As a matter of fact, it says right here, there's been a lot of discussion about the character of the neighborhood. This is Dublin. What kind of neighborhood are we talking about? It's farmland. Somebody wants to build a cell tower so that we all can get better cell reception. They will rent that cell tower to cell phone companies, 4 of them. Nextel and 3 other companies, according to this article. Those cell phone companies will then use that rented space to put up dishes. Those dishes will receive our cell phone calls so that we can talk to our friends and family and business associates. This is good. This is a very good thing. But when you let people vote on what's going to happen in their neighbor's land, it turns into something bad. All of us suffer as a result. We're going to suffer here in Keene because we're going to keep that Valley Green Hotel where all the prostitution and drugs get sold out of. And we're going to suffer in Dublin because we won't be able to get cell phone service. It stinks there in Dublin. Wish we had another tower. So, yeah, stay out of other people's business. That's good advice. We need a cell phone tower. We need to get rid of the Valley Green Hotel. Apparently, out of Washington, there's going to be an immigration crackdown on employers. Employers across the country may have to fire workers with questionable Social Security numbers to avoid getting snagged by a Bush administration crackdown on illegal immigrants. The Department of Homeland Security is expected to make public soon new rules for employers notified when a worker's name or Social Security number is flagged by the Social Security Administration. First off, let's talk about those Social Security numbers, can we? I have to have a Social Security number to work? I mean, I would have thought that working was a right that a man had. I mean, I would have thought that a man and woman, a man I mean human, has the right to work. And are you telling me I can't work without a government number? Does that scare anybody? It scares me. I've got one, I use it, and I'm not scared to use it, but I know that if somebody got a hold of it, they could take my credit, which is, pretty good, and ruin it. I don't like giving out my Social Security number, and I certainly don't like the idea that I'm not allowed to have a job without one. Now, secondly, the Department of Homeland Security cracking down on employers. I own my own small business, and I personally spend plenty of time filling out government paperwork of one sort or another. We're talking about city, county, state, or federal government paperwork. I've got to fill out all kinds of it. Look, I don't need any more government paperwork to fill out. That's what this is all about. I'm going to, the small businesses, some of them are going to have to hire somebody in order to just figure out whether or not their employees are eligible to be working or not. Is that a good thing? Is that what we want? Do we want a society that's so rife with bureaucracy that we can't get any work done? Isn't the government supposed to be there protecting my ability to work, not infringing on it? I don't know. Seems ludicrous to me. I mean, it's a free country, right? We should let people come in freely. Free people should be able to move across borders, the borders of free countries freely, right? Why do we have that? Why do we have to have illegal status for aliens and that kind of thing? Why not just let people come in here and work? I mean, what the biggest gripe I've heard about illegal aliens is they're violating the law and they're illegal aliens. Well, let's get rid of that stinking law. It's causing problems for employers. It's causing problems for people that want to come here and make a good life for themselves. Let's get rid of it. It's a crappy law. In related news, in Merrimack, 2 town councilors are objecting to requests that signs spelling out rules at the public beach be printed in Spanish. Parks and Recreation Director Sherry Kalish asked last week for a sign with the rules in Spanish because some beachgoers can't read the existing signs in English. Look, I'm not one to wanting to go out and print a whole bunch of government signs and forms and all that other stuff in every other language that anybody could possibly speak. I don't want to put a sign out there that's in Swahili. I don't want to put a sign out there that is any other language than English. As far as I'm concerned, the official language of the government of the United States should be English. That's fine with me. But if we're going to complain about the signs that are written here in New Hampshire in Spanish, shouldn't we go up to the Canadian border and get rid of those signs that say, Bienvenue of New Hampshire, to our Quebecois, whatever you want to call them, friends that come down here and spend all kinds of money? I mean, if it's good enough to write a sign in French, isn't it good enough to write a sign in Spanish? I don't know. I mean, seems like we're, bigoted? Is that the right term here? Is it that we just don't like Mexican people here in America? I don't know. Nobody's complaining about the French signs, but they're complaining about the Spanish signs. Anyway, apparently the town councilors say the signs should only be in English. You make the call, not me. World news. A sergeant is guilty in an Iraqi murder. Marine Corps squad leader was convicted Thursday of murdering an Iraqi man during a frustrated search for an insurgent. Sergeant Lawrence G. Hutchins III, 23, was also convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, making a false official statement, and larceny. He was acquitted of kidnapping, assault, and housebreaking. Hutchins of Plymouth, Mass. Could be sentenced to life in prison without parole. I know that we want to think, we Americans want to think that when we fight a war, that we do it better than it's ever been done before. That somehow when we fight a war, that it's by the book, and that the only people who get killed are the people that are supposed to get killed, and all the rest of the people are just fine. But wars have been about rape, pillage, and murder for as long as wars have been fought. And when you give a guy a gun and tell him, you can go out and kill some of these people, he's likely to kill some other people too. That's what war's about. All of them look the same over there. The terrorists and the people of Baghdad and Iraq that we're supposed to be protecting. They all look the same. So you tell a 23-year-old man to tell the difference, give him the right to kill people, there's going to be problems. I'm sure that Lawrence G. Hutchins is not a bad guy. I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure that he just got caught up in the moment. But that moment is a war. And that war is not for American freedom. It's not for truth, justice, and mom's apple pie. It's to make politicians and their cronies rich. That's all it's about. That's all war's ever about. Don't you think that the military buys more boots in wartime than it does in peacetime? Don't you think the boot industry wants to sell boots? Don't you think the boot lobby imagines, wouldn't it be better if we were at war? I'll still be here making boots. Somebody else's kid will have to fight and die. Let's get out of this crappy war and stop fighting them. Let's stop fighting the world's wars. Let's stop being the world's policemen. Let other countries figure out their own messes. We did it here in the United States. We've got the best country on the planet. And let's keep it that way. Not grow the government so large that we have to pay to police every backwater country in the world. Here's an opinion piece by Don Flood. Said a recent Drudge Report headline announced that the Clinton victory will be inevitable. Senator Hillary Clinton's camp immediately downplayed the report. While Mrs. Clinton is looking forward to being elected by the people, she fully expects an exciting and important debate on the issues this nation will be facing when she assumes the throne. I mean the presidency, said one campaign official. On the Republican side, where enthusiasm is equally building, despite a field that includes such exciting candidates as Rudy Giuliani, Mitt Romney, Fred Thompson, the Associated Press reports that a new leader has emerged in the polls. None of the above. Apparently there's a poll out there and people are on the Republican side are saying none of the above when asked about Fred Thompson, Mitt Romney, and Rudy Giuliani. Now, Don Flood's paid to make a humorous column, and he continues to do so. But I'd like to posit a suggestion. When people say none of the above for Republicans, I don't think that means that they don't want to elect a Republican. When you ask Republicans whether they want to elect a Republican, likely they will say yes. 33% of the people, at least 30% of the people in this nation will vote Republican in the coming year. So those people probably have a favorite. They just weren't given the choice. They were asked Rudy Giuliani, Mitt Romney, Fred Thompson, maybe John McCain. I'd say who none of the above is Ron Paul, or one of the other second-tier candidates out there. But Ron Paul's been really coming up in the polls recently, and if you haven't checked out who he is, do so, please. Now, I'm no Republican pulpit pounder, believe me. If Ron Paul doesn't win the Republican nomination, I won't be voting. Not for a Republican, at least. I'm just not interested in more of the same. I've seen what happens when Republicans get in charge, and I don't want any. I know what happens when Democrats get in charge. I'm not interested in voting for any of them either. Ron Paul, only choice. Take a look. Locally, motorcyclist is killed on Route 9. Westmoreland man was a father of 4. Stephen P. Dilley, who died Wednesday afternoon in a motorcycle accident in Chesterfield. Remember, the father of 4 as a family man who put those he loved first. Motorcycles are so dangerous, people. Look, I support people's right to ride a motorcycle without a helmet. I don't know if Mr. Dilley had one or not. I support people's right to ride a motorcycle. If you're going to, please realize that there's people out there that love you, and consider the time of day when you ride one, those kind of things. They're just dangerous. More dangerous than cars, which are darn dangerous. More local news. Looks like Richard S. Warble, the owner of the Forest Country Restaurant in Chesterfield, after years of battling bladder cancer, has been recently given a cancer-free diagnosis. Congratulations, Richard. God bless you, Richard. Here's another opinion piece, this one by Jonah Goldberg. It's entitled, Should People Vote If They Don't Know How the System Works? And he asks a few questions here in the beginning. Can you name the 3 branches of government? Can you even name one? Do you know who your congressman is? Your senators? Do you even know how many senators each state gets? If you know the answer to these questions, and you probably do because you're a newspaper reader, look, a little compliment for me. I'm a newspaper reader, so I know things. You're in the minority. I bet that's true. I bet most people don't know who their representative and senators are. Can't name them all. Representative is Hodes, Senator Sununu, and shoot, I don't remember who the last one is. See? I don't even know. We've done this, what those questions naturally lead to is sort of are people who are unqualified to vote, should they be allowed to vote? We've done that before in America. We've had questions at polls to see whether people could vote or not. They did it in the South, and they did it to keep blacks out. They wanted to make sure people could read and write in order to vote. Is that what we want to return to? I don't think so. Look, I know a lot of people are unqualified to vote. A lot of them are. But here in America, in national elections, rarely do we have 50% of the population turn out for a national election. And that's only for presidential votes. In local elections, you're lucky if you get 10% of the people to turn out. In some local elections, 10 people is a lot. The people who don't know enough don't know what they should be voting for, don't worry, they take care of themselves. They don't vote anyway. We do not need any kind of poll questions as to whether or not somebody can get a vote. If you've got a heartbeat, you've reached the age of 18 on this planet, you should be able to vote. Primary season's coming earlier here in New Hampshire. Apparently, some other states are trying to horn in on New Hampshire's coveted position of being the first primary. Well, we have a law in New Hampshire that says that we are going to be first. I'd like to see it be a constitutional amendment personally, but I'll settle for a law. These other states think that they have what it takes in order to pick who the presidential candidate is going to be. Look, the other states don't have the history of being able to crown the next president. New Hampshire does. We have been the first state for almost 100 years, and we in New Hampshire have nearly unerringly picked who the president's going to be. If you win your primary, if you win the primary in your party, you're very, very likely, if your party wins, to be the president in New Hampshire. So, I think that we ought to get ready for that vote. We ought to be ready when it comes. It'll probably come early January, I would guess. Maybe late December. I hope not. It's just too early. Late December 2007 for an election that's going to occur in November of 2008. But we got to get ready. We're picking the president a little early this year. People are excited about it. Excited to get Bush out of office. I know I am. I see the Democrats with their bumper stickers that say 1/2009. They're just waiting, bated breath, for the moment that their new Clinton is going to return, as though that's going to save us. If Hillary comes back, we're getting socialized medicine. If we get socialized medicine, it will break this country. Look, it's broken England. It's going darn close to breaking Canada. Their systems are crap. Do you want to have to wait a year for heart surgery when you need it right away? Don't vote for Hillary. Apparently there's some shots fired at the Brown residents. These are the Ed and Elaine Brown, who are the tax protesters up in Plainfield. And they've been already sentenced and haven't gone to jail. They're holed up in their house in Plainfield. Ed's saying that he will shoot any federal agents that come and try to take him away. And Elaine wants to be with her husband. God bless her. Apparently there were 35 shots heard at their compound. That's what they're reporting. That's what the Browns are reporting. I believe them. Why not? I'm sure the feds are very interested in going in. Look, I'm interested in going in and getting anybody who hurts somebody. Ed and Elaine Brown have never hurt anyone, and I recommend we don't go in after them. Look, what is prison but being confined to a single place? That's what prison is. That's what they are. They're confined to their home. They can't leave. There's no reason for us to go in there. There's no reason for a bloodbath. If they want to come out, they can. And only in Brattleboro. Tasers are now under review in town. After police stunned 2 protesters with tasers, the town has suspended the use of stun guns while it reviews police policy. The decision came in an executive session of the Select Board Friday night. On Tuesday, 2 people protesting possible plans for a gas station on a vacant lot were hit with tasers and arrested for trespassing after chaining themselves to a barrel and refusing to leave. Apparently there was a barrel on this vacant lot they could chain themselves to. Maybe they brought the barrel with them. Litterers. Town officials are investigating the incident. It's safe to say the board is on top of it all, said Select Board Chairwoman Audrey Garfield. Good old Audrey. Look, the landowner of the vacant lot asked these people to leave. He asked them nicely. They said no. What does that make them? That makes them trespassers, not protesters. They may have been protesting while they were trespassing. But I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, cops stunning them with tasers if they wouldn't cooperate, I'm sure that the cops came out and asked them to leave too, and they wouldn't leave then. It doesn't bother me. I generally am upset when I hear about cops using tasers because they use them for all kinds of the wrong reasons. In this particular case, these people are trespassers. What do you want when you go on somebody's land? Special report coming up in the Keene Sentinel. Heroin under the influence. I guess that will be in Sunday and Monday's paper, and I must say I am waiting with bated breath on what the Keene Sentinel has to say about heroin. Heroin is here in the region, and according to local authorities, the problem is only getting worse, with a significant rise in heroin use and sales, as well as crimes surrounding the use of the drug. On Sunday and Monday, the Sentinel explores the problem and its victims and what can be done about it. Details at 11. Authorities say that the situation's getting worse and that sales are on the rise, as well as crimes surrounding the drug. Crimes surrounding the drug. Does that mean that people are committing crimes to get heroin? Because I'm sure they are. And they may very well be doing it here in Keene, New Hampshire. I don't know. But since around the 1920s, the United States government has been cracking down on drugs, making them illegal. Heroin was legal. You can find advertisements for heroin before 1920. Somehow, we made it. We built this great nation that we have, and heroin was legal. How did it happen? I can't imagine. Look, it's the crimes surrounding heroin that are the problem, not the heroin. Look, I'm not saying heroin's a good thing and that you should go out and do it. Please don't. But there's going to be people that choose to do heroin, whether it's legal or illegal. And the problem is that the price of it is artificially high due to the fact that it's illegal. It's dangerous to deal heroin. You could go to jail. Somebody could shoot you. So the prices are high. If it was legal, it wouldn't cost much more than aspirin or cough syrup. The people that wanted to do it would do it. I mean, look, people are drinking alcohol. Drink a fifth of alcohol. See if that doesn't alter your mind. Somehow we managed to make it with liquor being legal. It's addictive. That's why they got Alcoholics Anonymous programs. The problem with heroin is the crime that surrounds it. The reason for the crime is the price. The reason for the price is the illegality. The problem with heroin is the illegality. Don't do heroin. It's a bad idea. Middleborough, Massachusetts. Town says yes to casino. Voters, in a massive outdoor town meeting on Saturday, overwhelmingly approved a deal with the Mashpee Wampango tribe. that could bring casino gambling to the state and millions of dollars to Middleborough. Why do Indians have the monopoly on gambling casinos? I mean, why is it that gambling casinos anywhere but Vegas and Atlantic City have to be owned by Indians? Does that make any sense? I mean, don't I have just as many rights to open a casino as an Indian? Seems like I should. I was endowed by my creator with the same rights that the Indians were, right? Now, I completely agree that we should not leave the monopoly of gambling with the government. Here in New Hampshire, the only way you can gamble legally is playing the lotto. But if you pay a 5-card stud for a quarter a hand or something like that, you're going to jail if they find out. Having the government have a monopoly on gambling is bad. Having the Indians have a monopoly on gambling, just as bad. Anybody should be able to open a casino that anybody wants. And certainly, we shouldn't leave it in the hands of the government, because they're only going to leave the odds at 1 in 14 million. Vegas would close its doors if their odds were 1 in 14 million, believe me. More muscle on the border. Beefed up Border Patrol helping police. Richford, Vermont. This story has a particular incident in the beginning that I want you to note. Earlier this year, when the principal of the local high school spotted 2 men with guns getting out of a local vehicle near the school, he locked down the building and called the state police. It could have taken a half an hour for a trooper to reach the schools, so the state police turned to one of their most trusted allies along Vermont's border, the Border Patrol. Well, within 4 minutes, armed agents were at the school, located about a half a mile south of the Canadian border. Turned out the 2 men were hunting and did not pose a threat to the public. When did we get to be such a touchy nation that a couple of hunters with rifles, because that's what you have to use when you hunt, scares the crap out of us? 50 years ago, if a hunter was somewhere near a school, would it have been a problem? Has the nation changed that much? Has 9/11 made us that scared? If we are that scared, is that a good thing? To me, if nobody's been threatened, I don't see a problem. Guns are just tools. In this case, tools used for killing deer. I'm not scared. Somehow. What does scare me is the kind of rash lockdown that principal precipitated with his telephone call. And the police would love to just take your guns away and make the whole place safe for everybody. Of course, they'd still have theirs, and they'd still be able to do whatever they wanted, because they had the guns. Those are just my thoughts. My name's Mark Edgington. Thanks for watching the Keene Weekly News. If you have any comments of any of the things I've had to say today, please drop me a line at mark@freekeene.com. That's MARK, freekeene.com. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Go to the fair. See the draft horse pull.